and culture, Mark Okraku-Mantey is here again. After the interview, there was some controversy on social media. Okay, let me say welcome to former Deputy Minister of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts. Mark, welcome back to the studios, your home.
Thank you, Kwame.
Yes, okay. So last week, let me start from there. After the interview when we went home.
Can we say I was a former Deputy Minister
of Tourism, Arts and Culture.
You see the confusion. Yours is art and yours is art and culture.
Yes.
Yes.
I wasn't creative.
It is true. I get confused nowadays.
Culture and creative art.
Because it was culture and creative art, and then you came and you made it art and culture, and they came and they've taken it back to the former one. So I get confused.
It's all not inclusive.
Uncle Ken, am I confused too?
So you give me mine.
I'll give you yours.
Doku is here. We are talking about brand.
Yeah.
Whichever way you put it.
So he's former Deputy Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture.
Yeah.
But Uncle Ken, you know, those of us who are brand people, multimedia broadcasting is not the same as multimedia technology.
Of course.
There's a company downstairs here where we used to manufacture our cassettes. It was called multimedia technology.
Oh, on the Capra.
Yes.
Yes.
And at the point, I thought it was from Mr. Jum.
Yes.
Because of the same multimedia.
Yes.
So, brand people, we want it exact.
Samuel Konadu.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Reverend Addy
Jamfi.
Yes, I dealt with them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mark, last week after the beautiful conversation, I went home and then there were calls from people. I was called by Abeku Santana actually. I was called by him, and he said he had not been on radio for about 2 months now. So that was in response to a statement he made asking why he still goes on radio to play the drive time, and then later, one of our posts on X, he commented under. I'm coming to read his comment to you. He said, I wish to categorically state that the recent claim made by Mark Okraku-Mantey, alleging that I am still actively engaged in radio broadcasting despite my government appointment, is entirely false and misleading. That was his response.
Did he work after the appointment on OKFM?
Okay, he did not respond to that.
So the reply could be, he said for the past 2 months,
yes,
or something. But after the appointment, he worked on okay.
He was on okay after.
Yes, I had him on okay
for a number of days. For
even one
days?
of them, he had to even go and tell his hometown people to vote for NDC because President Mahama has been good to him. Yeah.
For how many days?
For a programmer like me. Programmers don't listen, and we are not loyal to any brand. Every programmer, by default, you are not loyal to any brand because you scan around every time. It becomes a culture. Every time you are scanning to hear competition, scanning every time. And if you are not a proper programmer, then you stick to your own channel and hear yourself every day. But you are in a business, you are in a competitive environment, and so every time you must listen to competition. So by default, I scan around. So my radio
you do?
Scan.
Oh yeah, well that's what we do.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Oh, so you still do?
Even yesterday or 2 days ago, I took a picture of what I was listening and I sent it to Trickmatic. I was listening to him on 3FM.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you had listened to Abeku
once or twice after the appointment that he was on air.
But your comment suggested that he was still on radio as of the time.
I asked you to find out. You can play my voice.
Yeah, you said I should go and find out.
Correct.
Why he was still on radio.
Correct.
And I'm saying your premise suggested that he was still within that period.
If I ask you to find out, I've asked you to find out, which means that I have heard him after the appointment. And you don't expect me to be listening to him every day because I should be religious about listening to him and making sure that so that I can use against him.
Okay.
But if you remember, I started by saying that now we must be careful with people who claim they are doing neutral radio and television because after NDC's win, we have seen people who claimed they were neutral and they didn't go home for even a year or 6 months or 3 months. Quickly they left multimedia. They have government appointment. They left on other channel. They have government appointment. Everybody knew me as MPP. even when I was on Hit FM. That's why I was not doing a political radio. They wouldn't allow me to work on Joy or Adom that deals with politics. I left multimedia straight to ministry. Kojo Ponkroma, Honorable, he was neutral on Joy FM. He left, stayed at home for more than 2 years. Finished his law school.
Went to law school.
Yes, finished his law school. Even did some private business. I worked with him on some projects. Before later on, somehow he was pushed into politics. He was approached by the people of his place, with Honorable Safmafo and some people, and said that we are looking at you to come and take. So, Honorable Ponkroma's first attempt to go to Parliament, he didn't go for primaries. It was somehow organized for him to go and take over. It was subsequently that he went for primaries.
Okay.
And so all I'm saying is that the matter is not even about Beku Santana per se. But what I'm saying is that we are neutral media. If we want to do politics as media people, let's open and do it.
Okay.
But this thing that you trust people as neutral, and so their views become the perception at home, the listener or the consumer thinks that this person's view is neutral. Meanwhile, it is not. Those of us who have done media for a long time, sometimes we could read between the lines. I remember when Joy FM took their whole transmission to Ejura on one kaka. Do you remember?
I don't know about that.
Okay.
But I'm surprised you're asking me, do you remember?
Okay. One man was killed in Ejura. I think it was somewhere June, July 2021.
No,
And
2021, this recently.
Recent.
yes.
Oh, this is recent. I'm thinking about some.
No, 2021.
Okay.
And I think that they were suspecting some MCE who was an MPP appointee or President Kufuor's appointee. And then about the way the whole thing was carried. I mean, Multimedia, Joy FM, the whole day, Joy News is on that story, Ijura. But subsequently, you see other stories that are similar. And then we created people like, what's his name? Womawo, Fix the Country. He taught me in school. He taught me Jus Cogens, Public International Law. And
What? Jimba?
yes. So he's not a lecturer there, but he was brought just to teach that particular one.
Okay.
So Joy News again created Womawo. Every time he was on Joy News, Fix the Country. And I want to see a continuation of all of that. Yes. So I am prompting you that I have my satellite on you.
Okay, please. Okay, please. So with Abeku's
Multimedia.
with Abeku's response
Yes.
to your question,
Okay.
do you have any response to him?
If he's no longer on air, good. That's what we're looking for. If he's no longer on air, that's what we're looking for. Public work you cannot combine. So it is good he's doing the right thing. I don't want to go into where we say we've limited the ministers to 60, yet you see that GTA, they have 3 deputies. But you see nobody is silent. So we've reduced ministers, but we are packing some of the other areas, which you, the media people, don't talk about.
Are you sure we've not
You are
spoken
often
about
interested in the
I think
ministers.
we've spoken about that
You're
here.
often, oh, sir.
Oh, yes.
How do
We
you
even
conclude?
spoke about the fact that there were 2 deputy ministers there, one in charge of general services, one
Deputy
in charge
directors.
of directors, not ministers. One in charge of general services, the other in charge of operations. And then we were wondering which role Abeku was going to play. I think we asked those questions here when the appointments came. So we've spoken about it.
Yeah.
But Kwame, the issue was about salaries of the directors in relation to the ministers.
The issue is reducing ministers.
Okay, that's
What
the
is
point
the,
you're making.
What is the objective is to reduce expenditure
Exactly.
or spending.
Okay.
So if you are reducing the ministers and then you are increasing places that already have 2 deputies to 3, where is the correlation?
And what is their salary range?
You understand?
The deputies,
Yes.
the directors, and the ministers. Are they not on different salary scales?
Even the last time I heard that, is it Sami Jenfi or somebody like that said that per every minister, averagely this government spends 15 million cedis on you in the 4 years. I was surprised. 50 million per minister.
Because it wasn't spent on you.
No.
You were a deputy minister, so you won't know.
So
The
maybe,
gap
maybe
between
half of that.
no, the gap between a minister and the deputy minister's salary is like 1,000 Ghana. Relatively not significant. Yeah. Yeah. So if averagely it's 15 million, the deputy should also get 14 million.
14, yeah.
12.
Or even 12. But I don't think it's true. No.
You didn't get 12 million.
I'm not sure.
Maybe it's not just the salary, but all
Yes, the
Still-
other things
still
will
it's
come.
not true.
security.
It is not true.
Gardening
all that.
allowance.
Gardening allowance.
Which who gave me guardian allowance?
Entertainment allowance.
Nobody gave me guardian
Don't
allowance.
they give you
No,
people all that?
no. You see, some of them are exaggerated.
Electricity
No.
allowance.
Nobody gave me electricity allowance.
Washman allowance.
No.
Don't they give you all that?
No.
Cook allowance.
No.
They don't?
Mark, are you serious?
No. Even my PA
Travel
never
allowance.
got salary.
Wait.
Yes. When you are traveling,
Yeah.
then you are given per diem depending on the country you are going.
Okay.
It is statute, so it is written. When you are going, you just pick the sheet. You know what you should get.
Mm.
Yeah.
And depends on whether you are minister or deputy minister.
Yes.
Or CEO
Yes.
or
Yes. You depending on stature.
And was that only for official travel or for, holidays?
Oh, which holiday?
private travel.
Private travel.
No. Never saw any holiday in the 4 years.
So you were not entitled to a
leave.
holiday?
No.
travel?
No holidays.
You have on paper.
Mhm.
You are given. Is it 21 days?
Okay.
Like
Every
everybody.
year.
Like everybody,
Yes.
yes.
But you won't take it.
But it's not like you won't take it. The job.
It's such
If you are not careful, you can't go.
So you are paid the allowance in lieu.
No, you are not paid anything.
How are you paid?
For not going
You're
on leave?
supposed to be paid
Yeah,
the
you're
allowance
supposed to
in
be
lieu.
No.
Of
You are not?
Account.
No.
Mark.
Yes.
Mark,
I-
it will be paid to your account.
No.
He says no.
But this is very interesting because it brings about. Kwame, let me just.
Oh no, you
digress
just
one
go there.
second.
We get on the road.
It brings about this issue of the travel by the
Official.
the chief
The Chief Justice.
justice,
Yeah.
and there was this policy which stated that on official travel she could go along with her husband and one other family member on official travel, but on her holiday travel, private, she could only go with her security.
Spouse. Oh,
No,
security.
security detail. And I found that ridiculous. Why should you go on an official trip and be allowed to take your family members along with you, but on your private travel, you are only supposed to go with your security? I find it. Do you see where I'm coming from?
Isn't it the other way around? Isn't it the other way
Thank
around?
you. It should be the other way around. I think. it
Okay.
should
So
be the
I'm
other way
not so sure who said it. Whether it is Sami Jemfi or someone, but it's one of the NDC people who said we're reducing cost, and so by cutting. No, I think it is Fusuku Honorable. I think the day that President Mahama spoke about the performance within 120 days, there was some review after that on Joy News in the evening. I think it was Imani.
Oh, the day he was on with
Samuel Oku.
yeah, I saw.
Yeah, I think he
When
mentioned
they had the
something like that.
dialogue,
I
Was it a
don't know. I think it
dialogue or-
was.
It
It
was
was
PM Express.
Ivan
PM
Spencer.
PM Express. Then
Yes,
PM
Ivan
Express.
Spencer.
Yeah.
But I'm not so sure. I don't want somebody to go and quote me that I said it was Sami Jemfi. Meanwhile, maybe it was.
Sure.
But I remember
Okay.
that a person from this government has said that they were spending about 15 million
On a-
CDs on
on a
each
minister.
minister. So by reducing the number of ministers times the number of ministers taken off times the 15 million, this is how much they saved as a government. And I'm saying that yes, if you can reduce it there, but you go and top it up at the agencies, at authorities, at other places.
And
Right,
and,
I
and we
mean-
can do a better analysis if we know how many people have gone to those agencies and how much they're taking. That is where we can really balance the sheet and see.
But you see, with the conversation you want to have, I see Uncle Ken has an interest in it. You know, anytime I see people, now I drive my small car in town quietly, you see that
But you were
V8.
not driving a small car before you went into government.
Relatively.
Relatively small.
V8 and what I drive. it's a monster and some, so yeah, so it's a small car. Then you see some of these cars, V8. You know, people perceive that anytime you see a V8, it's a minister. Private people are now driving V8.
Oh yes.
More than even, if you count the number of private people who have V8 now, I'm sure they're even more than the government.
Francis Doku drives a V8.
Yeah, I do. In my dream.
And you see,
Francis are always doing it.
and the V8 you see, most of the time you will see one motorcade be in front.
Yeah.
So the impression you get is that it's a minister.
Correct.
Most of them are not ministers
Or government official.
or government
Yeah.
officials.
So to speak.
Most of them are not.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
so people hate
About 90% of them will be government ministers. Government officials.
and yampa.
Officials.
I never had one motorbike. The police people are listening to me. The only time you see that I have to travel with a motorbike in front of me is when I'm going to Cape Coast. Even that one, when we beat Budumbura, he returns. I go my way. When I'm coming, I come because that one, there is no pressure in Accra to come and do a job. But sometimes when you're going to Cape Coast, it's a fashe but that traffic, if you don't get somebody to clear you, you are likely to get there late. That's all. I live at North Legon. I will come to work normal. One of the days I was supposed to meet Dr. Baumia in Kofodia. I was in a hurry. I slept. Before I opened my eye, I was arrested. We told the policemen that we were supposed to meet Vice President. We are late. I'm sure that's why they had to use. You know the Gimpa Road when it's rush hour? They said no. Took us to Legon police station. Wasted all our time. Meanwhile, you know you take me to court. So why do you waste my time? So the Monday, Tuesday, we went to court. Went to pay our fine. So I'm saying this, that sometimes the perception we have about government appointees is not entirely true.
Okay.
I see that even when President Kufuor reduced our salaries, anytime I say it, they say it's news. My salary was reduced by 30%. And so I was taking just 40% as salary, which was a little below 12,000.
You're taking 40%.
Yes,
No,
Because of
70,
taxes.
70%.
Because of taxes.
taxes.
Oh, it's still
And it was
70%.
below
Yeah, it's your
12,000.
salary.
That's what I said, take home.
Okay.
What you take home is what we offer. So that's why I take home 40%. Yes, 25% tax, 5% Senate, 30% government decision, 40 is your take home. But do you find, anytime I say, they say, oh, boy, that's why I'm actually mentioning for them to know some of the sacrifices we did. Anytime I say it, they say it's a lie. My president said this openly. But do you hear people discuss every time? Oh, no, and I did that. I had gone to office for about 4 or 5 months, and that decision came. So I took that amount for 3 years till I came home.
Mark, let's get into the recent appointments of creatives in the NDC to various positions. What's your general assessment of that?
I thought you said today you were going to do one-on-one.
We are doing.
You said last week.
Yeah, last week we didn't finish.
So that's why I kind of quiet today.
That's why I'm also quiet.
Because I don't want to do politics now. I told you that it will come. I am packing. Because I mentioned Abiku Santana, you think you can go get stories from me? I won't give it to you.
No, but what do you
I'll
make
give it to
of,
Top Radio.
What do you make of the appointment of the
Did you hear me?
various? See?
Did you hear me?
No, I didn't.
I said, I'll give the headlines to
Why
Top
would
Radio.
you? Why would you?
It's deliberate. I'm running me.
What do you make of the appointment? The various appointments.
Of who and who?
Okay, what do you make of Honorable Ablanje Fagomashi's appointment as
My
minister?
girlfriend, Minister Jifa Gomashi, she's been there before. I visited her when she was a deputy minister. We all know what she went through. It is time for her. Now that we've given her the steer namano. So she should show. She should show what she can do. She is the first from the creative directly to take that position. So she should make her mark so that it can influence future
Make
decisions.
her mark.
Yes.
Buzz.
Yes.
Buzz.
Yes. So that in future it could influence decision making by presidents. If she does well, it can influence other creative people to take that position in future. But if she doesn't, then what is the wild thing about a creative person must lead? After all, we gave you one. Although what she will do it does not mean that somebody cannot do better or somebody cannot do worse. It will represent everyone in the creative space and what you can do. I mean, let me tell you this. This is a fact. When I was here years ago, Mr. Chum felt that people from the creative space or the creative people had limitations with management. I don't know if he still thinks the same way. And it could influence how anytime a creative person wanted to manage or something to be taken to a manager position, he would say, these people. So my sister, my big sister, my girlfriend, Honorable Jifa Gumashi, she's going to do this for the whole industry. She's not doing it for just her people in NDC. She's supposed to make a mark to influence decision making in future for everyone in the creative industry. Yeah. So I think that she deserves to be there. Let's see how it goes.
How can your big sister
A moment.
be your girlfriend?
Unfortunately, Uncle Ken, I don't know how I did it. Is that incest?
I think so.
But don't you know?
It is.
This one you should allow.
We also have other creatives occupying other positions like KODs are the diaspora affairs. We have Rexoma, who just left here, Black Star Experience Coordinator. Who else have I left out? And
I bet Rex.
Yes.
I bet Rex.
Okay.
We had our 4 or 5 minutes
Okay.
before he left.
What do you make of his secretariat and his role?
Rex,
No, the role.
the role.
His secretariat and his role.
Yes, I just mentioned his name.
Yes.
Rex.
Yes.
you know.
Sure.
He's also my brother. I mean, I can't pretend because of partisan politics. If you are my brother, I won't give you away because no. He's also my brother. I wish him well. My only challenge is that even on the same show that Jiva Spencer hosted, they mentioned that they didn't see his budget line. They didn't see his line in the budget. So, which budget is Rex going to use to work?
He said they were going to do more private partnership.
Good. I said, I like that attitude. He's accepted that this is my fate, and I must be creative as usual, find ways of making money to run my place. Because if he's going to rely on government budget, especially when it is a new area, and I mentioned it the last time I came here, that Rexoma in particular would have challenges because the traditional
Agencies.
the traditional ministries often do not struggle with budgets. And that's what I noticed about government. Agric, energy, education, those are traditional ministries. So most of the time they get budgets that even they too they are complaining, but relatively they are far better than tourism, because tourism is like a new kid on the block. I don't see tourism, art and culture as a traditional ministry. And that is why when somebody goes there, as media, as practitioners, it is your job instead to fight for that person instead. So government will show love to that ministry by giving them better budget. In the history of Ghana, President Kufuor's time has received the highest budget ever
For
Ministry of Tourism, Art and Culture. So you can imagine the previous ones. Go and check NDC Manifesto 2012. You see that there was nothing much about even creative art. We have fought for government to recognize the creative industry to the extent that now the creative industry, look at the number of people who have gotten position in government now. When we started this agenda, A plus and I, it looked like, no more. But today, look at the influence. It's influenced a lot of decision making and all of that. And so for a non-traditional ministry like tourism, art and culture, when we go and sit there fighting for the industry, then what you expect that the people like you would be asking, how much do they get? How come they give Agric maybe 10 million? How can you give the tourism 1 million? That is where the politicians will know that the people who have an interest in their industry. But what do? You keep quiet instead and you fight the ministers who sit there. Those are some of the things I think in future you should look at. So Rexoma fight for him so he gets some good budget to work with. When you are in government, you can't fight yourself. You can't fight your bosses. People like you, those are the
Red
things.
says a lot of his budget will be privately sourced.
Yeah.
Good, but it doesn't mean that if government gives him something,
You'll not take,
Oh,
yeah.
of course. it
correct.
is.
So fight for him so he will get some budget. For me, I'm doing all these things because when they go wrong, I'll say it. Where they need support to, I'll say it so they get the support. So that when you have the support, then you should deliver. But if you don't have the money, and then all we do is to sit on radio and TV and bash them. Why are you not working? Why are you not doing this? Why are you not doing that? I do not think it is fair.
But Mark, one thing is that when you are in power or they are in power, it's difficult for them to come out to say or tell us their challenges. What is drawing them back from performing? It's very difficult until they're out of office.
I'm sure it's
So
also difficult to talk about your salary. It's difficult.
So sometimes,
You, where you sit?
Mark,
I'm not sure you are very happy with your salary. But
Mark. So
wait,
the
wait,
thing
wait,
is that-
wait, don't move on. Don't move on. You see, you guys are not lucky. I came from the media. You are not lucky. I know true. I'm a media person.
Yes, you are.
I called once when Chega was on hit. I called him once. And I said, Chega, media from where mobile power. Then he said, why? I said, you are the people always fighting for government to pay better salaries. I never hear you fight for your own selves. And so you come across as Mohotomo. Always fighting for people.
Oh yeah, Hontoyen.
Sir.
What's this, sir?
Solly.
Since you have said it openly. That Mohoto.
Oh yeah, Hontoyen.
So let's keep it like that.
Yeah, Hontoyen.
But I'm waiting for the day that you two will sit here and talk about your challenges. I'm using this to answer
The question.
that it is only normal that we say circle won't train feels there's some
You don't buy the hand.
That fits.
yes you don't buy the hand that fits
That fits. you.
yes, that's why you are uncomfortable when I brought that question about your salary. You see, all of a sudden you started sweating.
The machine was distorting. So I had to.
Good. Yes, same everywhere. Same.
Okay. Now let's go back to a question I asked last week, but we didn't have time to get deeper into it. The Juliet Asante issue, the NFA issue. So
Okay, before I go to Julia,
yes,
I am very objective,
good.
and so I wouldn't want to touch on Kofi Ochedako. So, but tell him that now I am in opposition. When I was in government, he took me personal. Went around saying all negative things about me. Today, I'll tell you why he was doing what he did. That, unfortunately, that's how I am. When the time you hit me, I can wait after 3 years before I reply.
Oh yes, I got here.
Sana sack, no. Once upon a time, Kofi Ochedako called me and said he needed me for his event.
Where were you?
A
then?
launch.
Were you in government?
Yes.
You were in government.
Yes. He wanted me to come for his program at you see that hotel. You've called it Wawa. We've lost the real name.
It's actually wow.
No, it is not.
Oh no,
African region.
it's not how.
Francis Doku.
African region.
African region. So I told him that Kofi, the norm that I have come to learn here is that you bring a letter, and then it's the chief directors who then says, "Oh, Minia, it is tomorrow. When can I bring the letter?" And then I said, "Oh, Kofi." So doing it for a brother, I said, "Okay, I'll do it for you. I'll come." So the following day, I asked my PA to call him. She did. The phone was on speaker, so I heard how he spoke. Yeah? Yeah? I remember, Papa. So I said, is that how Kofi speaks on the phone? So I took the phone and said, Kofi, it's me. Okay. So we went. The driver, myself, Nat was a sales person at Multimedia. He left. He's in London now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you go
The
with
macho
your
man.
PA?
Yes.
You went with your PA?
Yes.
You didn't mention her.
Yeah, I said PA.
You said not myself. And you
Oh,
left
okay.
that
So
out.
the PA
Yeah.
came with us. So we got there. So even a car park, we struggled to find a car park. And this is normal. Even in our normal Ghanaian culture, our setting, if you invite somebody and you place value on the person, there are some basic things that you even do for the person. I got there, struggled to find a car park. It was Nat who got down and did some of those things for me. Got a car park. Now we are packed. Kofi himself was not coming. The PA went. He says, oh, his seat. He says, I don't have a seat because I didn't come early. Guess what? But the PA's job, how will she communicate this to me? That I don't have a seat.
Who doesn't have a seat? You.
Yes. And the PA says that her job is to make sure that my
boss,
seat
yeah.
is ready before I get down. So for her to come and tell me that they say you don't have a seat, it's another matter. So she struggled to communicate this. I said, yeah, what's happening? In all this, Kofi didn't come himself to even come and see me.
Did he not know you were coming?
Yeah, but he didn't know you were there. You had arrived.
Did he not know?
Yes.
He knew. The PA went to tell him that I'm here on behalf of.
And did the PA meet him?
Yes. Me, my bro. My course, I'm in the show in Yami about as a minister. I was invited.
So please, with the
So,
KOD one.
Yes. So, hey, you like that story?
You invite two bands. One channel.
You know the story, eh?
Million. One channel.
Oh, you too.
Let's
you
finish
see, he's
with-
confessing his too.
One after the other.
Ah, we can be a
I'm the
No,
one
one,
coming to pick
no,
issue
one
with you.
after the other.
Uh-huh.
The thing is
Yeah,
becoming
we
sweet.
pick issue.
Okay.
Uncle Francis, it is becoming sweet one after the other.
Okay, good. So, I sat in the car. I got tired. Guess what? It was my time for even school, law school.
Okay.
It was time for me to go to school.
Which year was this, please? Sorry.
But how could you be going to school and be going for an event at the same time?
Correct. That's my struggle.
Okay, so two questions, please. Which year was this? 21?
Oh, 2022.
Okay.
Minkai, but
Okay.
Kofi knows the story himself. So
Okay.
I left. On my way, I saw Eugene on Sanfon cancer. Kokonsa. I told Eugene that this is what has happened. I know Kofi will go out there and change the story. So you are my witness. I've been here for the past days. Kofi didn't come. He didn't even come to even welcome me. But if you go for some of the programs for Ministry of Tourism, the tourism sector of the ministry, by the time you get there, you see the one who invited you at the entrance, ready to welcome you. It's a simple thing, protocol that we must learn. But you notice that most of the creative events, when you go, they don't even come and welcome you. That was why George Quay or somebody like that came to say, Sadiq came to say on your show that when positions are given to people from your industry, respect the seat, not the person.
I think it was George or something.
It was George or one of yes, because he has seen these things happening. So I left. And grapevine, I'll hear Kofi says me, Mabaso, I've become arrogant. I am this and that and that and that and that. Where did I go wrong?
But did you speak to him after that?
After that, and even explain to him that Kofi, now what the job I do is not the same as what you knew me for. So I'm asking you to learn, not just for me, but other people that you'll be inviting. That's how it works. If the person comes, I've come to sit for this number of minutes and you are not. Moreover, you even invited me just last night. No document. And I came. And that's how you treated me. So I almost got home and then Kofi called. I said I left. Then he started going around radio to radio, TV to TV. I'm this, I am that. He actually went to Joy Prime to go and say that my constituency people shouldn't vote for me. Because I'm not a good leader. And that's not the first time Kofi has done such a thing to me. I don't want to go back. So let's leave it there. But me, I won't do same to him. Let's see what he can also do as a diasporan. I think that somebody who has lived with the diasporans would have been a better option. The person who was there, Babio, he was a diasporan himself. Nadia, as deputy, was diasporan herself. They understood the diasporan language. But maybe President Mahama has a different strategy. So Kofi could be a diasporan at heart. So he knows what to do to get them on board. Let's see, it's early days here. Let's see how it goes and see the numbers they can also bring.
Well, so currently, what's your relationship with him like? Current relationship with Kewode, currently?
Looking at the past, if it is done to you for about the third time, you don't need to keep that relationship.
So you're not on good terms?
The day I came here, did you see me talk to him?
When he was sitting here.
Yeah, he was seated.
Did you
Just
see me
right
talk
here.
to him?
When was that?
Last year,
Uh,
before
was it
the
going on?
election.
No.
I think Francis wasn't here that day.
He was sitting.
Yeah, it was one of our creative art politics conversations.
Yeah.
Just here. Yeah.
So we'll do what we have to do. He did for NDC, I did for my party, MPP. That is it. But to come and tell you my problems and talk domestic issues, and to extend that, Rosalind even asked them, Kofi, it's what we are talking about. Is he not supposed to be your brother?
Who's Rosalie?
Rosalind Felly,
Felly.
Joy Point.
Felly.
Oh, Felly.
Yeah.
Oh, on the
And
show.
he said, yeah, but you are my brother and you're not doing the right thing. We have to put you on your toe. You are not doing the right thing. And just because I came for your show and somehow you didn't show me love.
Was it only that? Was it just the show?
From that time, he went around telling a lot of industry. You know, I was in the ministry, but I still had the industry.
Eyes and ears.
Mark, would you say your position as Deputy Minister of Tourism, Art and Culture gave you or brought you, quote unquote, more enemies? Or did they affect your relationship with creative industry people that you were cool with before?
Not really.
Not really.
Not really.
But I will say yes.
No.
Not really.
Did you fall out
No, I mean, maybe if somebody had a
issues
grudge,
with?
it probably not because
Of
the
their
Maybe
position.
it's something that
No, but
existed before.
it
or
is the
something.
ministerial post that a lot of people use to denigrate Mark.
Like,
Because they go ahead to say that Mark as an industry person per se is exceptional. Some of them even go further to say Mark was their mentor. They got into the industry, and because of Mark's achievements, that is what propelled them to do more. But because Mark as a deputy minister did not give them what they wanted, I've heard so many people say, even this morning, I heard somebody say that.
Uncle
this
Ken,
morning.
you know, some
That's
of
why I
them
say it
hide
is
behind
because-
government.
Okay.
Some of them is partisan. That's why I said that a lot of people are not brave enough to show I belong to blue or I belong to red. And they make it look like, oh, it's an independent. And so most of the time, that's how they start. Like my brother Arnold. When Arnold wants to bash, he starts by, oh, Mabo Abaso. Mabo Abaso pa. Arnold, every time, Mabo Abaso first. Before. So most of the time, they say, oh, when it comes to your private life, we admire you for your achievement. Because my private CV, apart from Naba Namwa, everybody knows my private CV.
Do you have a problem with her?
Not that I know of. My private CV, you cannot delete it. It is there. So most of the time, you know, when you type my private CV, they will know that, this one there. So most of the time, they don't touch that one. Then they will come and use government. Again, if you mean well, why do you leave the main ministers free
And touch on the deputy.
and touch on the deputy? It is only in my time that the deputy, not only me and Dr. Baumia, we are the only people, the MPP government, these two people were the only people, vice president and a deputy minister, who were seemed to be or were treated as they're supposed to be the one to lead.
But Jafar also admitted in an interview that during her time, she suffered. Have you not seen that interview?
Yeah,
Oh,
I heard that.
people like Jafar suffered, but
We
Have you not seen
even
Jifar's
played it right
interview?
here on the
Yes,
show.
you played it here.
yes, but Jafar didn't get media bash. I personally,
Anyway.
yes, Jafar didn't get media
Not
bash.
as much as
Not
as,
No,
as,
no, no,
as
no,
you
no.
got.
Jafar
yeah.
didn't get media bash. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Dr. Baumia and I don't know what we did wrong, but maybe we also showed face too much. Covered the main people somehow.
They knew you too well within the
Maybe
ministry
they had
industry
higher expectations.
before you went in there.
Yes.
That is the issue, Mark. You were too well known.
And they knew what you stood for.
Yes. And therefore they expected higher returns from you.
But if you understand organizational structure,
But they don't.
Not everybody
They don't have
understands. Not everybody understands those things.
Yeah,
Once-
but before we speak,
yeah.
we must know before we speak. Unfortunately,
We speak before we
No,
know.
but Mark,
But for most industry people, once they know one of their own
Yes.
is there and he's at the top,
Uh-huh.
they expect that something good will come from
That is the
quarters.
problem.
again, relatively, I have said that in the history of that ministry, as a deputy minister, my achievement there, even that, is still the highest. You can go and check.
So somebody even came to write, oh, you keep on saying that Mark did well for the industry. What at all did he do?
Exactly.
Yes, it's still the highest.
I wrote that you led advocacy in a number of things and like that. You didn't do anything. What part did you do? They came to write under my post.
I know. I saw that.
You saw that post?
Even the Kente, UNESCO, the listing,
Yeah.
who? It was me. To the extent that I got Musica to come on board with the UNESCO boss at the time, Abdurrahman Diallo.
Yeah.
We started High Life. So High Life will be known as a Ghanaian product. All of that, it's in the process. Some of us made noise about event centers. At least when I went there, we looked for funding. And event centers, they are building them. You know that as government is not spending, it's affecting the amphitheater too. It's a policy. Government is not spending. And so because government is not spending, amphitheater money too will not be released.
But I thought you said some was given out before you went out. You left office.
I said the money is in.
It's-
But
it's
if you don't
in.
give the money to the contractors,
Oh, okay. It is
Because
in,
government is
but
not
it's not
spending.
being delivered.
no.
Okay.
So
Okay.
because it is there.
Okay.
So I give you one. I gave you law, the creative art law, creative art agency,
Yeah.
operationalize NFA. Yeah. Amphitheaters. Kente and list. I didn't write.
A number
It
of
was top
them,
of
eh?
mind. Yeah.
Mama,
But is it not because
talking
maybe
of
okay?
amphitheaters, that is one area where a lot of people are bashing you. Because they claim that you made definite statements
Yes.
of you finishing those theaters.
Give some timelines.
It gave timelines before you left office.
Because
And so, by reason of the fact that you never finished those theaters, you had not achieved anything.
Okay.
So you should stop talking about them.
okay.
The things people are saying, you haven't heard.
I think most of them really talk about the tangibles. They want to see the
Yes.
things.
Okay. Do you know that if you go to Kwame, the museum, there was a museum in the making by Sergeant for Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. And it is there, not completed. And it is because of this attitude. The last time I made a statement on radio, I think one of these radio channels, and I said that we should encourage continuity in governance. Because governance
It's a continuum.
is correct. This culture of that is why when every government comes, they stop the old one. Because I want this as part of my CV. So if I start something, look for the money is already there, and this new government comes to finish, you see it as a something achievement. Brick and mortar, originally, The reason why this thing has confused a lot of people, originally it was going to be prefab project. That is why I gave it 3 months. And then the team that worked on it changed it to brick and mortar. Or better, both and not. Cover. Like Charterhouse.
Who changed that?
It is the World Bank, the team.
Okay.
So you had to add more.
But when they came to me, but you guys do, it is how we can use it against you.
Yeah.
That's where the interest is.
Mark, you're a good friend. Baba Sadiq has sent a message.
Okay.
The truth be told, Mark has been very magnanimous to industry as a deputy minister. I think he intentionally went to extra lengths to maintain relationship with industry folks. Mark was on hand to offer some of us a lot of help and support. He attended and spent time at not only the launch of 3 Music TV, but 3 Music Awards, and stepped in alongside Akwesi. I mean, he's calling him Akwesi Ajima, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Akwesi. And when we had issues with Forestry Commission on Wilderland,
Yeah.
something I continue to deeply appreciate. Meanwhile, tell him I'm still insisting he should work on the Mark book, M-A-R-K book. He understands this. This is from,
Yes,
Kwame.
this is from
understand.
Sadiq.
Tell Sadiq
You and
that
Sadiq.
I greet him.
You and Sadiq.
Just tell him I greet
He's
him.
listening. He's listening. Mark, before you come in, let me go to Francis and ask him if he has any commentary or any question before we go to the Juliet question, because people are asking a lot of questions about Juliet's long article or letter. So, Uncle Francis.
Francis, please. You asked Mark about Julia. Did he give any response?
No, he'll come there.
He'll come
He
there.
he chipped in the
After
KOD.
Francis,
So I'll come to
so
Juliet.
why are you
after.
jumping from him to?
No, I'm just taking
He wants
Francis.
to
Okay,
catch
do you
him.
have an interest?
He wants him to catch his breath.
You have an interest.
Yes, Uncle
Well, I
Francis.
mean, I think that I believe being a public servant would be a tough job. You know, I believe it would be because I've never been. You know, so.
He's
you
not,
not work for Graphy?
Oh, but that's not public service.
he's not being.
That
That's
cannot
not
be.
public service.
It's not. He's not.
What
No,
is
I'm
that?
talking public service like how Mark, you know, and Abeku is Mark was.
Oh,
you know, like,
okay.
that's
Yeah.
public
Okay,
service.
that's
Yeah.
public service.
Yeah,
So yours
yeah.
was what?
It's service.
Civilian,
to the public.
civilian service.
Service to the public.
That topic, let's not go there. Very confusing. Public service, civil service,
Yeah.
to date.
Me, I'm confused.
Yeah.
It's still confusing.
So civil service are those who are permanent, who work,
Okay.
you know,
Okay.
in ministries and agencies, but permanent. But public service. So civil service servants are public servants, but
I see the
you know,
confusion.
Yes.
not all public servants are civil
As civil
servants.
servants. Yeah.
Anyway, so I think it will be a very tough thing because if you do, people will still not see what you've done and still criticize you, especially where it is not a tangible thing. Some of them are not
Yes.
tangible
Yeah.
things that you can.
Like the UNESCO
I mean,
things.
you
and
know,
all
what
that.
I mean, if our Greek minister says that we did
The policy.
650
650
of cocoa.
of cocoa is something you can see
Countable.
and all that. So it's a difficult thing. And again, I think also our system is a bit different, where everybody seems to have a microphone, you know, and has opportunity to talk, especially within our sector.
Let's add the phone.
You know,
Now they
yes,
have phones.
phones and can, you know, have the opportunity to say things and all that. And again, I always say that it is usually because we have the microphone. That's why things in our sector are more, you know, exacerbated than in other areas. Doctors don't have, you know, microphone. Agri people don't, but we do have. So when things happen, we talk about it a lot. So I think when you're going into that area,
Yeah.
you need to know, and I believe that Mark does know that this area is different from health is different from agriculture, is different from this. Because those people, they don't have microphone. It's when we give them that they talk. But we have it. And so
every day.
Every day when we wake up, we have it. Yeah. We're talking and talking.
And
so
now there is
You and sports.
yes, of course. You know,
now there is vlogging. There is vlogging.
you know,
videos,
so even
TikTok.
if they leave the radio and the TV, there are other places where they can do it. So I believe it comes with a package.
Yes.
So that if you say, okay, I want to take this role, you have at the back of your head that I want to do good, but you know these people may not see it, then they will come, you know, talking and all that. I believe that's how it is, especially when, as Uncle Ken mentioned, you have been in that space and very popular, and people expected a lot to have happened.
Yeah.
Maybe they are not seeing it.
Yeah.
Even though you may be doing that. I think that's what it is. But and also that people have to be educated to understand that when you are in certain roles, things would change somewhat. They won't be like, you know, they used to be. I mean, I'm sure Mark would acknowledge that I try to maintain that kind of, if I call him, I know that, you know, I may not always get Mark because the Mark that I used to hobnob with and all that, it's not the same Mark in a different position. I think when we respect those lines, we may not expect too much.
But we had a good time in South Africa.
We did.
Abu Bakar Ibrahim. Sorry.
And Botswana.
And Botswana. Yes.
Abu Bakar Ibrahim from ManjaOnline.com says, "Tell Mark I said the road to hell is paved with good intentions." Yes, that's from him. And then Baba Sadiq says, "Miheleno." Is that you understand?
No.
Did I say it right?
He was referring
Baba
to
Sadiq.
me.
He said, he said Miheleno. What's the meaning? Also, Jesu. Okay. Okay. All right. So now let's zero in.
I haven't finished.
Oh, okay. Sorry for cutting into your submission. Please finish.
South Africa and Botswana was good, apart from the fact that as
please continue. Yeah.
Mark had a protocol that I didn't have as ordinary citizen. You know, so I think people expect a lot from when they know you. And especially when you have been speaking, you know, like we do here. Yeah. I believe if Uncle Ken is in the position as Minister of Tourism, a lot will be expected of him.
Of course.
You know, because he's expected to understand the issues because he speaks about it, you know, and all that. So if they don't see certain things, I think it's not wrong for them to be, you know, asking questions. I think it depends on how people go about it. Instead of asking issues and questions, they rather go to abusing, which I think is not how things ought to be. Yeah. So,
okay. Kwesi Agatha says, Ken, a lot of things do not make sense regarding the Constitution. And when you call it, the lawmakers out, they call you disrespectful. Oh, okay. Meanwhile, they are the genesis and the perpetrators. So that's one comments coming in.
I think it was in relation with the Chief Justice.
Yes.
Package, package.
I think so. Yeah. This one says, please tell Mark not to talk about amphitheaters because even the National Cathedral, $54 million, which is a Christian... which I as a Christian, sorry, there's I there. Which I as a Christian even contributed my token. What happened to the promise that was made to the Almighty God? Also about the continuity. Does he Mark want another government to raise fund and continue the cathedral? Nisaki Choco. Okay, you can also send in your message 05511119997. This is Showbiz A-Z, and we're here with the former Deputy Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture. Attention Ghana, the Green Revolution is here from 11th to 13th June 2025 at the Accra International Conference Center. That is where the center comes alive with the Ghana Horticulture Expo 2025, the nation's premier showcase of fruits, vegetables, technology, and export opportunities. Organized by the Federation of Associations of Ghanaian Exporters in collaboration with the Ghana Export Promotion Authority and proudly supported by Ghana Exim Bank, Fidelity Bank, GIRSAL, Okraku-Mantey, and GIZ, with Joy Business as the official media partner. This is your gateway to innovation, trade, and partnership. And this is the highlight. The keynote address will be delivered by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama. Book your exhibition stands or register now at www.ghanahotiexpo.com, or you can call 0243457783 or 053224555. Now, German Ozone Medical Center is leading as a leading multidisciplinary healthcare facility with a strong focus on ozone therapy as the core of their clinical approach. Renowned for its therapeutic benefits, ozone therapy is integrated across their medical and dental services to support faster healing, enhanced immunity, and overall wellness. In addition to their specialized ozone-based treatment, they offer comprehensive outpatient care, advanced and dental services, and operate as a fully equipped implant center with an in-house dental laboratory ensuring precision and efficiency. Their commitment, innovation, patient-centered care, and clinical excellence positions them as a trusted destination for holistic and advanced healthcare solutions. Call them on 055 024 2222 or 055 025 2222, or email them hello@gomc.com.gh. Tomorrow is a Sunday, and you'll be listening to Pentecost Hour with the chairman, Apostle Eric Nyamiche, on Joy 99.7 FM at 1:30 p.m. That is tomorrow. Let's get in here and still continue with our conversation. So let's get into the Juliet Asante story. So on Second May 2025, Juliet Asante, who was the executive secretary of the National Film Authority, wrote a very long article or a letter or a piece on her Facebook page. And she mentioned a number of things that she was not happy about. She spoke about no salaries for 2 years, running the office from their homes and no official vehicle. She spoke about some sexual harassment from 2 male bosses and antagonism from the board, among other things. Let me ask former Deputy Minister of Tourism, Art and Culture's reaction. When you saw this or when you heard this, what was your reaction?
Mm-hmm. It was unfortunate. For me, my question was about why now? Would it solve a problem? If you come and tell the whole world that at the time that our party needed stories to make us look sexy, that's the time you decide to come and say this about our government / party. It is possible that yes, she went through some turbulence in the beginning. It is possible because it is normal with government structure that when you are starting something, and sometimes I take pride in when I struggle in the beginning with some of these things. The Creative Art Council, we also didn't take salary. Occasionally we're given allowances. We didn't take salary, but I am happy that it has gone down in history that it was Okraku-Mantey and some people who started the Creative Art Council that evolved and became
the Creative Art Agency.
That could be fulfilling. In the beginning, like Rexoma, Black Star Experience, he also go through his turbulence. He might not tell you now, but it is there. Because anytime the government structure now, even the traditional ones, comparing it to private sector, is slow. So what about a very new one that you want to build? That nobody even understands what you are doing. You have to explain to everybody with the meaning of Black Star Experience. before you are even recognized?
Are you not duplicating roles?
And all of that. You answer all those questions. So, yes, she might have gone through some challenges, but some of the things were also not true, like car, and I suspected myself that I was one of the people who pushed him to some sexual harassment or something. I said I suspected myself because he said the bosses, and because we were many, I do not know if he's talking about from the top or at our level. So which of the bosses?
People were asking which bosses were
You understand? It's a vague statement that put all of us in that situation. But
you can't suspect yourself.
That's what I say.
If you hadn't done anything like that, you can't suspect.
Because I don't want to suspect Francis. The best I could do is to suspect myself. I can't suspect my boss.
No, you
Who
can't
were
because
bosses?
you know.
Who were immediate bosses?
Immediate bosses.
Those she reported
me,
to.
Honorable Awa, Chief of Staff,
Okay.
Vice President.
Chief
President.
Director.
Okay, Chief Director. It
Okay.
comes to Chief Director even before me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who
Yes.
handed her the letter? She said,
It's the minister.
thank you.
And when the letter was handed over to her, I was not even around.
Yeah.
I had not even gone to
You assumed office in 2021,
Yes, even June, July.
and they were inaugurated in 2020.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. So 2020 was even Honorable Barbara Otinjesi, not Honorable Awa.
Yes.
Yes. So you see, it's getting more confusing. Yes. So I do not know what pushed her to write this. One, she's not somebody who is known to be die-hard MPP. Juliet. I've not seen her in our colors before. She's not done campaign. But you know, there are people who are your party people in their souls.
Okay.
But because politics, you're always looking for a new person. You're always recruiting. So you don't discriminate. And so
Okay.
in President Kufuor's appointments making, you realize that even President Mahama too has done similar, where party people will not even accept that. We are fine, then we are my party that you're giving the position to. But these leaders do some of these things in their own wisdom.
So it means she was not appointed based on her political affiliation with the party.
I cannot tell because I do not see where she came with politics. No, in terms of, and I've invited her several times for us to go and do some political things that she never showed up. To the extent that you realize that she was even anticipating that she would stay.
She was? She didn't state that. Did she?
Oh, in her, if maybe it wasn't verbatim,
Oh, okay.
but inference.
By inference.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Maybe
Was
she
she
wasn't.
not board chairman of NAFTI?
Yes, in the first 4 years.
She was board chairman
Yes,
of
NAFTI, yes.
Yeah, it's not NAFTI anymore, is it?
No.
Francis?
Yeah, it's
Unimark.
Unimark, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was. But for me, my only worry with this is that if somebody gives you a position and you are not happy about things that have gone on, you either communicate to the man who gave you the position. If nothing is done, you withdraw. But you do not wait after everything is over and you come and say all these things. Because if you say these things, would they reverse it? If truly, if you wanted to advise your sister, Miss or Mrs. Danku, a phone
Miss
call
Danku.
away. A phone call away. But you write this, make everyone look bad in the loop. Everyone is suspecting the other person. Did you do the thing? Did you do that? We gave her a pickup. She did some relatively mammoth projects. The one that brought Idris Elba,
Africa Cinema Summit.
all of that. I think that we should have thrown some spotlight on some of those achievements instead, for herself and then the president, instead of bringing this to mar her hard work, some of the things that she even did. Now people are not discussing some of the things she did. We're only discussing what she wrote. I'm sure if you come to everybody's bedroom, we all have issues, but we're only managing them.
Okay, Joe 99.7 FM, Showbiz A-Z. We have any question for former Deputy Minister of Tourism, Art and Culture, Mark Okraku-Mantey. You can do that right now. We're having a conversation with him. Let me also talk a bit about the Africa Cinema Summit that was organized by the NFA. As a minister, deputy minister then, do you have an idea who had the right to that particular event?
Who had the right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes, to that event.
As in right, as in the technical word right.
Yes.
I'm confused.
You're confused.
Yes.
Who am I?
Okay. So it was organized by the
you are
NFA.
confused,
Was
Yes.
it an NFA
So
sanctioned
whose
event?
event it is?
Or it was because I have heard, let me give you the premise. So I've heard,
You know
I've
something
heard
that we don't
some
know.
industry people say that particular event was Juliet's personal event. And that if maybe governments changed, we might not continue with that particular project. I just want to know if during your tenure, you knew if NFA had the franchise or it was an individual that owned that.
Okay, it is like telling me that when I was at the ministry, I also organized. I want something that we did in the name of the ministry, December in GH. But because I was known for events, the December in GH is for me.
Okay.
It's not possible. See, in that office, you cannot do a similar something, conflict of interest, right? You cannot do something. That is why when I went to office, I didn't put myself in any event.
Okay.
Because probability that conflict will come. Is it his private one or he's doing this for government? Again, even the government office will not permit you to do that. So, if Juliet did something when she was in office, then she did it in the name of someone leading this organization, not herself. So I remember that she said that she's given her organization to someone else to organize the Black Star Film Festival.
Yeah.
She was not the one leading. Because as a public servant, you cannot...
If she was leading as NFA.
Correct, NFA
yeah.
association or something.
Okay.
But as she organizing Black Star herself film festival, it wasn't going to be possible. So if she did that event, automatic, it is for government. It cannot be for her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Still with office issues regarding Juliet's matter with office and all that. Let me link that to the Creative Arts Agency because I think early this year we heard information about Jan Kroma vacating the premises, the Bureau of Ghana Languages, where I know that the Creative Agency was stationed as the office or office space. So the information was that she had taken all the stuff from there. She said she bought everything in there. And even I spoke to Divine, who is acting director of culture, art and culture at the ministry, and he confirmed as of that time they had no office space. I just want to know if Jan Kroma was the person, the one who secured that place as an office space, or it was the ministry that did that for the agency.
Okay. If Jan Kroma did it, it's the ministry that has done it.
Okay.
Like I did to the Juliet conversation. It's the same. You cannot separate me or Honorable Awal from any business that you say it is for me or it's for Honorable Awal and it's not for the ministry. For the 4 years, anything you do in that ecosystem, you are doing it for government.
Or Honorable Mesa.
Honorable Mesa.
Okay.
You are doing it for government.
Okay.
And so, if Jan Kroma did or secured or procured whatever, she did it for government. But guess what? The difference is that when I was leaving, I took my Ghana flag.
Did you put it there yourself?
Yes. Originally, I had this small radio that I used to listen. I took it back home because in 7 years, I'm going to radio so no, BP in Bekosoro. So, but you could see here. You know, Kwame, once I had to call Andy Dusty
Okay.
that Bulldog sat on Hit FM and said, my uncle Kanuforiata, the things he said, and me man into income. And some of the media, the teachers, they say was repeated publication. If you two say it, you can be sued. And I find what?
Yeah.
Repeated publication. So me, in my number, but they were distasteful. You know, and I called an industry, and I said, Uncle, Andy, sometimes some of the people who take public offices, and you allow people to disrespect. Some of these people, when you find them, if you God give them back, if they die and they come back, reincarnate, and they appear in your families, you will make them gods and goddesses, and you will worship them. Unfortunately, because they've taken public offices, and microphones are available, you allow people to spew all kind of junk, critique of public office people. It is your right. They have power, and you have rights. They are governing you, and so use your right to check them, those who have the power. Simple. But these days, people have taken advantage of the fact that because he's a public person, go and insult him. And they are insulting. And it's normal. And multimedia. Multimedia. And I come here and say, this is the Hit FM I built. Is this the orientation I gave to you guys before I left? People should come and insult. They speak raw, insult. You know, these are some of the, that's why I left my radio. I took it back home. Because I was calling Hit FM almost every morning as if I was producing the show to correct them. So I stopped listening. And so me, I don't listen to Hit FM. Uncle Ken was telling me that this morning, something. I said, Uncle Ken, I won't listen. And then by force, listenership and so force.
Bulldog says that you, Okraku-Mantey, as an industry person,
Uncle Ken, if it is you, it is Okraku-Mantey. Why do you have to add my name?
oh,
It was you. It was you, Marco.
I think, but I think, and again, I think Boo has said this a number of times, even in his presence.
no, but you haven't heard what I'm going to say.
Okay, because I listened
So what
together
does
with
he
you.
say? You're talking about, you also listen to he said that you, Okraku-Mantey, you should not be heard speaking in public. You should go far away to a place like Sefiwi also.
But that's also public.
And stay there and come up with an invention. And when you have come up with that invention, then you can come out and speak to the public. Because you...
But you go and hide me.
Why is everybody laughing?
I heard Bulldog say that this morning about you.
But what else have you put down to him?
No, he said
That's
you,
the place I should go.
You have failed miserably as a deputy minister.
Okay.
And you should not be talking.
I think some of our industry friends are also, they say they are listening.
No, but Uncle Ken,
Uncle Ken, I'll come back to you, please. And Ken Fiati says he's listening, and he would want to know if there is anything that Mark thinks that he could have done. I think we asked that question last week, so that's answered. And then yes, and so that's basically the people who, and then DJ Mensa as well. He's also listening. Yes.
DJ, my good
DJ
DJ.
Mensa.
Sweet sister of mine says she's listening to you, and she's enjoying your story. She doesn't know you from Adam, but she's enjoying the story because you're giving her an insight into how ministers, and particularly deputy ministers, positions are like. Kwame,
Yes.
I want to go back to
Uncle Ken.
Uncle Ken.
Before, I think that you Mark was on
we are
a particular
ending
explanation
at
of
55,
the question
so-
that was asked.
Yes.
And he gave examples of the flag and radio.
Yes, and the
I think
things.
a transistor radio and a flag is not. I mean,
but
but-
furniture.
carrying whole furniture, if that is true, I think there must be.
No, but
okay.
Okay.
I think the
Okay, yes, I
So
didn't
I think
finish.
Mark should
Yes.
I
finish
didn't finish.
that.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, it's a similar frustration that Juliet also expressed. These new officers, sometimes, and truly, because the laws, we have laws that govern expenditure, you don't get the money from the ministry.
Exactly.
It won't come.
It won't
It
come.
won't come.
You want to shine. You want to
the
do
best.
something. So sometimes the people are forced to use their personal money to do stuff.
That's
You know.
true.
Yes. And so I'm not sure Jankron took anything that was bought by the ministry
Yeah.
out of
Well,
that.
the report was he said she bought them
Correct.
herself.
Yeah, but Mark, earlier you gave an example when he asked about the event that once you do it
For
it becomes the
In
same
that
thing.
position.
It's
Okay, the difference is that the ones that they do, like the Juliet one, Africa, whatever,
The cinema
the budget
summit.
comes from government.
yeah,
Okay.
was funded
Yes.
by.
The budget comes from government. But if you use your personal, the flag,
You bought it
I
yourself.
bought it myself.
And
He
the
come even
transistor
asked,
radio.
and then my radio, I bought it myself. But the chair that is for government, the other stuff that are for government,
You can't
you leave
take
them
that.
there.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So Jankuma too thinks that. So if the people will speak the truth, that Nkrumah didn't dismantle the whole building. Baumi, she will leave something there.
Okay.
She will only take what
She brought
she
there.
bought.
Kwame, let me
Ma-
finish my.
Okay, finish yours. Then
Yes.
we wrap up with him. I'll
Going
come
back
to you.
to Juliet's matter,
Cocaine and Juliet.
I listened to Socrates Safo on radio last week, and he was lamenting about Juliet taking away his position that was given to him by law. Right?
I know
Which
of
is
that matter.
Act 935. Act 935 stipulates that the chairman of the classification committee is the minister. And the minister, because of his duties, can delegate somebody to act on his behalf. And the minister in this instance, no, it wasn't a while. It was
Then.
before a while.
Honorable Barbara.
I think,
it was Barbara.
2021
yes,
or so.
Yes,
Or
somewhere along
2020.
the line,
Yeah.
yes. Chose Socrates Safo to act in his stead as chairman of the classification committee of the NFA. Now, Socrates claims that Juliet came in, took the position away from him, gave it to somebody else that she chose. And when this matter was brought to your attention, not you, Mark, per se,
The ministry.
but the ministry's attention, you guys did not do anything about it. And that reinforces people's perception that somewhere along the line, you guys empowered Juliet to do certain things. by
Well, she's the
herself.
CEO of NFA.
No, well, she's not the CEO.
She's
She was the
Executive secretary.
That's another issue. She chose that title outside the law. If the law wanted to stipulate CEO, it would do so. The law stipulated executive secretary. She then decided these were some of the issues that she brought on herself. Okay. Now, with this position of Socrates being taken away from him, the minister should have stepped in to let her know
Okay.
that this is my position
Okay.
and I have chosen this person in my stead.
Good.
Why did you guys not do anything about that but allow it to go?
Okay.
Okay. I know this one. Socrates told me. Socrates. Sometimes I tell Socrates that Socrates, some of these things, don't say it with your mouth. Right. So we document them. And then the minister will also reply. So today, paper no go lie. But he also didn't write.
He also come and sit on radio and say,
So,
yeah,
So,
right
but-
officially. You know.
but Socrates didn't say it at the time on radio. I'm sure he did it just last week or last week.
Yes.
Yes.
I only heard him.
So
yes.
I engaged the minister on it, and the minister said he was handling it. All I can say is that Juliet somehow was lucky. And she was able to survive with some of the things
Lucky.
that. That's
How
why
can you be lucky?
that's why I
in
say
such an
that's why I
office?
say that's why I say lucky. I'm saying advisedly.
I think- I
Uncle
think-
Ken,
I
I don't
think-
know.
no, but
Are you taking
Okay.
a position?
I think he's making a
Are you
point.
taking a position on this?
Yes, my
Why?
position is very simple. I have just told you that by the law, the Act 935, the minister is supposed
You know that's
to
Uncle
be.
Ken.
No, but
you
the
know, Uncle
point
Ken
that-
used to be.
Yes,
Yes.
he was even part of the
So
people
let
that
me
drafted
just-
the.
Uncle Ken, law's interpretation there also. It could even say
Uncle
that
Ken.
if the person is the head of the institution, she also has a responsibility and a right to say that I want somebody on it, even though it will say that the minister will appoint somebody.
But-
So don't take a position just because of the face and value of what is written.
So are you saying that anybody in charge of an institution can decide to go against the law that guides that institution?
You're reading just the face of the law.
I'm not.
No, I think Mark was explaining. So let him continue.
Okay. So Francis, let me ask one question. I'll use the question to answer. Can Kwesi Addyman sack or change people's position at NFA?
Yes.
At GTA?
The
It's not
positions.
sacking. It's sacking and
No, changing positions. bruh.
Changing positions.
Can Kwesi Addyman do it?
Eh,
In the government
well,
structure, it doesn't work like that. You must engage the minister.
Exactly.
Yes.
And particularly when the minister is supposed to be sitting in that position and he
He's
has
not there.
delegated somebody else to do so, then you come and take the minister's...
and you see, in the public service
How?
structure, those things are even done through the chief director.
But did the minister write? Or he just said, go and sit on it for me?
Right
No,
what?
Did the minister write or he said, oh, go and sit on it
No,
for
it's
me?
the law that states what should be done. And the law states that
No, but
position-
if you are implementing the law, you have to. There must be something that shows that you're implementing the law.
Ah.
So the minister just will call you and say, "Go and sit on it because the law says so."
there was an inauguration of the committee openly.
Yeah.
Openly. Mark, you were there.
I remember.
You were not deputy minister then.
So was it written?
Oh,
But must it be written
but must
to?
the thing is in
I
the
think
law,
so.
you're
To
asking
take- to
if
take
it is
effect.
written.
But I have sat on board for the minister.
Okay.
What the law says. Commission on Culture is the minister. It's not the deputy minister.
Okay.
But the minister just said, "Minister, represent me
Okay.
at Commission on Culture," and I go. Yeah.
Okay.
The law
It's not,
stipulates.
it's not
Cannot write to me.
permanent.
But I think.
It's not permanent. The thing I'm saying.
But I
is
think
that-
But it's
the
permanent.
question still stands.
What is not permanent?
Uncle
right?
Ken,
Uncle Ken, I think the question
according
still
to
stands.
the Bank of Ghana law, there must be a representative from the Ministry of Finance. The minister just can't say that you
Stick
go and
to
sit there.
our ministry.
No, I'm just saying
And-
that
and-
is, you are
and
talking
I'm
about
not-
law, and so
I'm
when
not
we
in
But please,
No, no,
I think there is a question. The question is, the question is, why did the ministry not do anything about that situation?
That's what I was
That is my
answering.
Yes, so
And then-
please answer that
So
for
I'm
us.
saying that Juliet was lucky somehow. The minister at the time, Honorable Awa.
Ken doesn't want the word lucky.
Okay, then she was not lucky. Are you okay now?
Yes. There's no lack.
Because you know, all I can say is that there were lots of things that were managed at the time. The NFA conversation, I am saying this today because I have to say it once and for all, so you guys don't go back. We did a lot of management behind us. Uncle Ken, when you called Socrates to query him that he wasn't talking, and when the thing was going bad and what he wasn't talking, forgive me, I was the one doing that management. I was the one who called him not to talk. I was the one who told him not to be talking, because initially Socrates was going to go very raw, so we could manage it. The board will always fight the executive director. The executive director too, you're trying to calmness on also on the board, and I say, you know, and the challenge is that to get all this reversed as, okay, how do we change the board? How do we change the executive director? It's a long process. So
So you managed it.
after 2 years,
Samara.
let's manage it.
What
You know,
Samara managed what?
should they do?
so we managed it.
Managed what?
Uncle Ken, which word do you want to use? You're my uncle.
Acted on it.
Bye.
And told the executive secretary that she could not do what she did. Because the law stipulated that she could not do that.
The law didn't say she could not.
Ah.
The law says what
Uncle
to do.
Ken.
It doesn't
Uncle
say
Ken.
what not to do.
Uncle Ken, this I partially agree with you, but I think that this conversation shouldn't be my conversation. It's supposed to be the minister's conversation.
Okay.
It was his call, not me.
I didn't appoint a person. I didn't appoint a person to stand in, so I'm not the one to.
No, not even in that sense.
I agree with Mark.
Even if I thought I saw anything wrong or I could make some changes,
yeah.
True.
I didn't have the power.
Yes.
True.
That I agree with you.
Yes, it was the minister's decision to say 1 or 2. Then we all move. But he said, "Look, let's manage it. Let's do this, do that."
So the minister was one of her bosses.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Including
Okay.
me.
Okay.
But you were not around when she was appointed.
All right.
Okay, the minister too was not around. It was under Barbara Otinjesi, the appointment time.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, minister too was
Joy 99.7 FM. Interesting conversation. Okraku-Mantey, we can talk with him for 5 hours and we not get tired. I think once in a while, once in a while you should just pass by. Once in a while you should just pass by. But I remember last week you mentioned there were some thank yous
The conversation.
Yeah.
you should have done.
Mark is detoxing from.
I remember you mentioned there were some thank yous that you should have done last week.
Yes.
So I'll let you do that, and then maybe your final message. Then I take some messages from Uncle Ken and Uncle Francis. Then we close. So yes, the thank you messages, and then your message for the creative industry.
Okay. I just want to thank my media friends.
Not all of them. Some of them.
Time will tell, Uncle Ken.
What the cost?
All of us.
Uncle Ken, time will tell. Some of them, let's not forget, I mean, the fact that you have moved on in life, cry, is a put off for somebody. And so they can behave in a So since they say time is ticking, so I just want to thank my friends, my lecturers at GIMPA. Some of them motivated me. I'm not through this year. I'll try and come and finish. They are all lawyers. So, Isidore Tufo, Akapam. I don't know. I don't know Natavia. Oh, sir.
Okay.
Otin. Sam taught me constitutional law.
Oh, okay.
Deputy AG.
The deputy
AG.
attorney general.
Yes,
Okay.
he taught me constitutional law. I didn't know he wanted to be a minister at the time. I also want to thank my team, my driver, my PA, my police officer.
Yeah.
You know why?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody went into office for 4 years. It was her driver who gave her away.
Oh,
And
Charlie.
became unpopular. You remember that popular story? At least they heard a lot of things I said in the car. And after 4 years, I came back peacefully. My ministers that I worked with, I want to thank them. I learned a lot from them. Oh, I worked with Honorable Katrina Feku, Barbara Otinjesi. I was on the council.
The
When she was
council.
the minister.
Barbara.
Yes. Barbara Otinjesi, darling minister. Honorable Awal, Honorable Ejapa Mesa.
So you went
And-
all the 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Yes, and I worked with about 5 chief directors. First 4 years, they were about 4. Then second 4, 1 Agbeko.
Otolayani.
Yes. And so finally,
Yes.
the President of the Republic of Ghana,
Okay.
former, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, for believing in me. When he chose me, some people opposed. Even when he did the reshuffling, one MP told me in my face that she went to ask President that, why did you leave Okraku-Mantey? And
All right.
I see you're in a hurry.
My producer is on my neck.
I won't tell you
So
the rest.
I think we have taken Uncle Francis and Uncle Ken's time for this one. This evening we are going to we are going to the Grand Arena for the Telecel Ghana Music Awards. May the best person win the artist of the year.
Promise the inside.
Yeah.
Can promise the inside.
Yes. So thank you so much for tuning in to Joy 99.7 FM Showbiz A-Z. My name is Kwame Dadzie. We are back next week.